there is this thing about Ballon d'Or that I always told myself that the next time that I get the chance to talk about it, I would want to elaborate a bit on it so that people would get to know a little bit of its background and how the discrepancies and a whole lot of things that have. Now, I have never rated the Ballon d'Or over FIFA Best Player of the Year. And when I say that, this might spark some controversies, but just wait for me to just break it down for you. Of course, that is the first biggest worldwide individual accolade that could be given to a player from 1956 after the first Champions League. So from 56 all the way to 1995, the criteria was simple and very, very straightforward. An European player playing in Europe, and the criteria was talent. I'm just mentioning it to you so that you'll be able to get it over here. So it was just talent, fair play, and the player's overall career within the year and individual performance over the year. So that was how it was. And the panel was strictly for UEFA journalists. It generally started with France Football. So they were journalists who were accredited by UEFA, so they could vote. And that was where Stanley Matthews won the first one for Blackpool. From there, it went on and on. So with this criteria, it meant players like Pele, players like Didi, players like Garrincha, players like Maradona, players like Mario Kempes, they couldn't win because they were not playing in Europe. And even when Maradona got a chance to play in Europe, he couldn't win because he wasn't an European player. So it is European players playing in Europe. That was it. Then in 1994, after that, they came to a consensus that let's try to review it because we realized that there are players who are not European players, because someone like Romario had done extremely well in the World Cup. Yes, so Romario has done well in 1994 World Cup. And you couldn't, he was just eliminated, and they could only give it to someone like Roberto Baggio. And if you look at what Romario had actually done, but he wasn't, so they had to change it. They maintained that still the UEFA journalists will vote. But this time round, we give the chance to players who are not European players, but they play in Europe. That is what gave the chance for Giorgio Ponvio to win. Then subsequently, Nazaro de Lima won. He was also able to win. Then it gave the chance to a whole lot of players to win over and over. So this one also continued. Then by 2005, they realized, no, it can't also be only players who are playing in Europe. So let's give the chance to players who are playing all over the world. So it meant that now it is not just a player who is playing in Europe, but players who are also playing all over the world. And this time around, the voting was not only restricted to the UEFA, but it is European journalists. The first one was UEFA journalists. This is European journalists. So you might be a journalist who is an European, but you are not accredited by UEFA. So that one is what gave the chance for someone like Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho won it. You also had players who were outside, who were not part of Europe, but they were nominated. So that also continued for only 2 years, 2005 to 2007. Then from 2007 all the way to 2010, that was when now they were able to open it up, and they had journalists all over the world to vote. This continued for 3 years until 2010, when FIFA decided that, oh, there are years that people win and they are not necessarily, they also end up winning the world best. And that is what it was actually. 2007, Kaka won Ballon d'Or, he won world best player. 2008, Ronaldo won Ballon d'Or, world best player. Messi, Ballon d'Or, world best player. So then why don't, and Messi also won it, Ballon d'Or, world best for 2010. So why don't we then merge it? And the merger was what sparked the controversy. Now it wasn't just the journalists who were voting. Now it was every country had one person to vote. That was when we had Michael Otieje voting for us. Then now they brought in captains. Now they brought in national team coaches and fans. So that was between 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. During that time, Messi won it 3 times. Then Ronaldo won it 2 times. So Ronaldo won it 13 and 14, and Messi won it 11, 12, and 15. And after the 15, they realized, no, the whole controversy thing is still sparking. So the two of them split. So that was where the attention on, okay, I'll come to that. Then when they split, then FIFA went back to the best men's player and the best female player. That was when it started from 16. Ronaldo winning the first two, that's 16 and 17. Then they kept their Ballon d'Or, but France Football now took it back. Still, they maintained that in that stead, you will still have the national team coaches voting and the fans and the rest. So that was where the fan influence, the brand influence, and at that time to the criteria, they started adding things like fair play, discipline. Discipline was never in it when I started. Now there was discipline, there was skill, there was total achievement in the year, decisive moments were also all brought on board. Now when all of these things was brought on board, now the whole thing changed. So from the 15 all the way to the 2022, that time too, it was still the European thing. It had then come back to the France football, although it had come to France football, but then it was still, they still had that factor of when they were like with FIFA. So when this whole thing happened and until 2022, then they decided to go back to how it was. But this time around, they were not making it like the whole year. They made it calendar of the season. So 15 to 2022, that one was from January to December.
Yeah.
But from 2022 going, they made it August to June. So anything you do after June doesn't matter. But still, it was open for the whole European. So this is just a summary of how Ballon d'Or has gone over the years. So we have Messi winning most of them, 8, Ronaldo 5, and the rest continue. Now, like I said, I never rate it above FIFA best player. Because first of all, if you use Ballon d'Or rating to say that this player is the greatest, what I mentioned some few names, someone like Kempes, someone like Pele. Imagine Pele during his 60s and 70s. How many Ballon d'Ors would he have won? Maradona, the times that he could have won with Napoli and also with Argentina, that he had never had a chance. So 1919, when the FIFA best player was established, that was when it was eligible for everyone. But should I say, fortunately, unfortunately, someone like Maradona was almost past his prime. Yes, and that was mostly also made such that if it is a year that is a World Cup year, 1994, 98, 2002, obviously the person who wins the World Cup, the best player of the team wins it. A few discrepancies can be made for 2014 for Messi, 2018 for someone like Modric winning, and a few of the years. So almost every year. So from 1990, Lothar Matthäus winning, and 1994, like I said, obviously the best player would have been Roberto Baggio, but then it was Romario who won the World Cup. So Romario won. In 1998, no player was better than Nazario de Lima. He had won in 97, but 98, because of the exploit of Zidane, especially in the final, Zidane won. 2002, there was a player like Mario Jardel. He was the, the European Golden Boot winner. 2002 itself was the year that Real Madrid won the Champions League. Zidane was arguably the best player in the world, but Ronaldo Nazario de Lima came in, 8 goals. He won the Ballon d'Or with just about a few matches. 2006, the best player in the world was Ronaldinho, no doubt. Barca had won the Champions League, but Cannavaro, because of his exploit, won it. 2010 was where we had the discrepancy. Obviously, the best player for the whole World Cup, it was between Iniesta and Schneider. But then, that was where the first discrepancy came. Messi was given. 2014, the one who won the Champions League was Real Madrid. Ronaldo won. And Germany won the World Cup. Top 2 best players, Müller and Neuer. But another discrepancy. So you see where it has started from. 2010. That was when the whole thing. 2018 again, a World Cup year. And the World Cup year, who won the World Cup? It was France. France, you could talk of Mbappe, you could talk of Griezmann. But then, it was Modric. Champions League won. And even he wasn't the best player in his team. 2022, yes, then we went back to the person who wins the World Cup, which was Messi. That same year, who won the Champions League 2022? It was Real Madrid. Benzema had won the Ballon d'Or, but because of Messi's exploit. So, they brought their own rules over the years. And yet, there are sometimes that exceptions and discrepancies are made. You see that when it started from 56 all the way to 2000, you can even include up to 2005, the criteria were talent, impact in the team, skill, and it was just in the beginning that there was fair play. There was nothing like fan voting, and that one you could hardly take away the fact that this person won it, and you could talk about, because it was actually UEFA journalists who had an eye for the game. So if a year, for instance, and they take some like a Jean-Pierre Papin as the Ballon d'Or winner, you know that this guy deserves it. With Olympic mass, you know that this guy deserves it. There were sometimes that Omar Sivori of Juventus will win it. You know that it is not a matter of the name. And during the time of Omar Sivori, there were players who were playing. There were times that you would have a defender like Franz Beckenbauer winning it 2 times. You will know that this player had won it. But then from the era of the whole thing changing, and we brought in the fan, and with the fan, a player like Omar Sivori might not win this time because he will not have the clout during the time, because that time you would have someone like Michel Platini, you have someone like Johan Cruyff and the rest. And that is what we are facing this time around. That element of having the technical eye, taking away sentiment and taking away fan base. And it was funny that with the years and the voting, national team cups, there were some teams for over the years, they know as long as you nominate someone Cristiano Ronaldo, the country's captain will vote for them. A country like India, there is no way they will not vote for someone like Messi. Some countries, this is what they are. As long as they see Messi on the bill, they will vote for him. There were some fan base. I have voted for Ballon d'Or before. I remember, is it 2017 or 2018? I went there. I didn't even check what was happening. I just voted for whoever I wanted to vote for.